Hey guys, Eclipse14 here. So, a couple days ago I released my NES Collection update, and now here I am doing my Super Nintendo Collection update. What you see here is the 20 cartridges that I still have from 2 years ago, and I got one extra game that was boxed since then that I actually released as part of my DS Collection video, because that was a small collection that needed a little more pad time. So what I'm going to do here is that these are the most well-known games, and the far left is the more expensive stuff. So we'll go from column to column, right to left, and let's just jump into this. First off, can't go wrong with Super Mario World. Enjoyed this game, completed this thing, all 96 paths. I actually have a Let's Play on this game. It was one of the first major things I did when I started my channel. Still got it up. Not really much attention given, but I really enjoyed it, and I made an outtakes thing at the end. So, if you want to check it out, just look through the channel, and I actually got a playlist available for that if you really want to take a look at that. I really enjoyed playing through this game, and that's really all I got to say about it. Next up is Donkey Kong Country. I'm actually currently playing through this game as I speak on this post time. There is one more cartridge here that I'm doing the same thing for, but currently I'm about 20% into this game, and I'm still playing through it a little bit periodically. So far, no serious problems, and I'm hoping that it remains that way as I continue through this game. So, yeah, Donkey Kong Country is something I'm still currently playing. Next up is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. This is the first Zelda game I ever played, and also one that I've completed the most times. I actually played this on the channel a long time ago, but I wiped it off my channel because it really wasn't getting any attention or anything whatsoever. Plus, just a few minor mistakes that could have been fixed, and that's about it. So I could play this thing on the channel once again if I actually re-got the tools and everything. But as it sits, I've completed it. Have been pondering about it for a while, but I've decided against it for a while. So that's about that. Next up is Mega Man X. I've played this game quite a bit, but I've never completed it. The Robot Master stages, I have played all of them, and they are pretty awesome in terms of soundtrack and everything. I really like this game. I do need to complete it, though, considering I've beaten Mega Man 1 and 2, waiting for 3 so I can do 4. And I really do need to play this one because it's the start of a really awesome series. So I will get to this when I get the chance. And the last one of the column is Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. I also played this game on the channel, but again, I wiped it due to a couple major mistakes early on and in some certain videos. This game I've completed quite a bit. Wouldn't mind doing it for the channel again if I wanted to, but as it sits, I'm sitting here with it. I definitely like this game, even though it is a black sheep and is a very easy game. But what matters is that I enjoy it, and I still have it mostly for that nostalgia purpose in regard. Starting the second column. First off is the Seventh Saga. This is the other Super Nintendo game I'm currently playing, and this is known for being a very difficult role-playing game. My god, this one has given me quite a bit of trouble. And I actually am over the halfway point in this game. Just got past probably the worst freaking fight in the game. Took out one more boss, and I'm still just kind of right there. So, yeah, I know this game is absolutely brutal, and I can't wait to finish this sucker. So, still playing this one as I speak, along with Donkey Kong Country, and hopefully I'll get it done before too long, and it doesn't give me a freaking aneurysm. Ys 3, Wonders from Ys. I haven't really played this game all that much. I've played it for like 15 minutes, and that was about it, just to make sure it worked. I really should give this a shot at some point in time, so really, it's a side-scrolling role-playing game, but other than that, I really don't have much to say about this game, unfortunately. ActRaiser is kind of the same way. I played it for like 15 minutes, and that's about it. It's kind of like the same thing as Ys, except there's also the city building simulation that I think is part of it as well. So yeah, again, it's a game that I don't have much to comment on it because I haven't really played it all that much. Secret of Evermore is also that kind of issue. I know it's supposed to be a really good game, and I also need to get Secret of Mana, which is really strange. I did have one Secret of Mana copy that unfortunately just didn't work, so that kind of sucks, and I haven't picked it up since then. Either way, I played this thing for maybe 10 minutes, and that was about it. Kind of got stuck figuring out something, and just haven't been able to come back to it. Hopefully I will give this some time and see what it looks like, because the plot seems to be kind of cool. And last one from here is Contra 3. This game is a tough game. Played a little bit of it, maybe like halfway through the game actually, but I really don't have too much to comment on because it is freaking Contra, it is freaking tough, and I really should give this another try and see if I can actually take this thing down because it would be awesome to beat this game. Alright, third column. First off is Super Castlevania 4. I have completed this game, and it is one of my favorite Castlevania games. Probably my favorite period, considering I never finished Symphony of the Night. I've completed this game. This was amazing. Would play it again because it's just absolutely awesome. And, yeah, this is probably my favorite Castlevania game just because it is just so freaking cool. I'm glad I still have it after all these years. It's an amazing game. Next is Magic Sword. I've played this one a little bit. I don't remember too much of it off the top of my head right now. I've got, I think it's more like the side-scrolling role-playing style, like the action-adventure style, more or less. But again, that's probably just me trying to remember the game when I don't really remember it too much at all. I should probably put this in the console at some point and just give it a try. Robotrek's kind of the same way. I've played it for like 10 minutes. And all I know is you're the scientist who ends up building a bunch of robots, and the robots do the work for you in terms of experience and everything. So, this seems like a neat concept, and I really should give this thing a shot. I know the games become pretty expensive these days. I think it's like, what, 50, 55 bucks now for the cartridge? So, I'm kind of glad I picked this up when I did. I only paid 10 bucks for the sucker. I gotta give it a try. Lufia and the Fortress of Doom. I have completed this game with pretty much the best equipment in the game because I got pretty lucky on everything, and I ended up. This was one of the few games where I grinded out the best armor in the game because it took so long because I got so lucky getting the best sword in the game as well. Well, for the main character anyway. So it took a little bit of time, but I eventually pulled this thing off, and this was a pretty decent game. Although not as good as, well, I don't think I'd spoil it, Lufia 2. I played this one before the first game, because since the first game is pretty much a sequel to this one, in terms of timeline. This game was awesome. The problem I really had with this game is that everything seemed to go too quick, because you ran by default. And so all the dungeons ran pretty quickly and all that, so I kind of breezed through this game without too many issues whatsoever. And, it is a really good game. It's a very difficult game to find as well, and very costly. I think it's like $100 now. But it is an excellent game, and I definitely recommend this one. But if not, the first Lufia is pretty good as well. And now I've got my final column of 5. Let's get this started. Breath of Fire. This one I have completed, and I've actually considered playing for the channel, but it's been a little bit since I actually really completed it, and I know I was pretty bent on completing this game when I first completed it because the last save point was very, very far away from the end of the game, as in the main guy was still alive and I was going after him, and it was still about a quarter of the game left before I finally finished it, and apparently I never saved at any point in time of that period, so quite a long day in that instance because I was really pretty bent on playing this game. So I really am glad I enjoyed this game. I'm glad I got it for what I did, and that's really all that matters. Breath of Fire 2 is the same way. I spent a really long time looking for this sucker, and I ended up pre-ordering it online, and so this was one of the few games that I had to pre-order online. This game I completed without too many difficulties, and I really enjoyed it. This was the game that allowed me to complete the entire Breath of Fire collection, so I was pretty bent on getting this sucker, and now I've played all 6 Breath of Fire games. Yes, even the Japanese mobile game that was technically Breath of Fire 6. That game sucked. This cartridge really sucks, I apologize, but it's the Adventures of Batman and Robin. This is the side-scrolling beat-em-up style game. Haven't really played this one all that much, because there are a couple flaws with the sucker. But I am willing to give this game a try and just see how it turns out, because it is supposed to be pretty decent for a game. But I just haven't put that much time into it. Yeah, the cartridge sucks, I apologize. It's one of my worst-looking cartridges in my entire collection. Ah, yes, good old Chrono Trigger. This sucker's about $120 these days. Anyway, I remember beating this game on the DS, so it didn't take me very long to beat the Super Nintendo version at all. Um, Believe it or not, I actually have the Super Famicom version of this as well. A little later from now, I will show my Super Famicom and my two games that I got for that, so if you want to check that out, go right ahead. I'll put a link in that in the description when I get that episode up. But in any case, I'm glad I got the original Super Nintendo Chrono Trigger because this game is very awesome, and I am glad I got it. Not as glad as that final cartridge, though. This is a legitimate copy, by the way, and it is one of the most expensive games in my entire collection, the one that carries the highest price tag. A legitimate copy of Earthbound. Yes, this is legitimate. Um, this thing, I'm not saying how much I paid for this sucker, but it's a little bit cheaper than what it's currently going for now, which is about 250 bucks for a cartridge. Quite a bit of money indeed, and I have completed this game. I was like level 93 when I finished it off, and I've been wanting to play the sucker for the channel because this is such an it's an unusual game that's so freaking awesome. And I'm really glad I got to experience this game pretty much the way it was intended. So I'm glad I got this thing. I am kind of considering playing it for the channel when I get the time to do it. But what matters is I have a legitimate cartridge, and that makes me very happy considering how much it is these days. Alright, so that is the entire column of cartridges. Let's get to the boxes. Alright, box time. Let's go from the top with Gradius 3. This is the only boxed game in my entire collection that does not have the instruction manual, and that kind of stinks because I still need to find it. Either way, I have actually completed this game on all difficulties, including the arcade mode, which was brutally difficult, and considering I couldn't actually get it on the, just by the secret means of just rapidly doing the difficulty thing or whatever it was, I had to play all the way through hard mode, complete that, and then end up in the arcade mode, which was a complete crapstorm. This was difficult to do, but I managed to pull it off. I'm really happy I got it. This was a very good game. I do own the harder PS2 version, though, because this is actually the watered-down version, whereas the PS2 version is the arcade version. Either way, this is a really good game, and I'm glad I finally beat this sucker. Next is F-Zero. I have completed this one as well. Didn't take very long at all, considering it is a racing game. I really enjoyed this game. It wasn't too bad, but I definitely enjoy the later games more. Particularly GX on GameCube was something that really was interesting to me. And suffice to say, I'm glad I got to play the original one as well, because this really felt pretty neat. And that's all I got to say about it. Next is Goof Troop. This one I didn't really play too much. I've been wanting to play it for a while, but I've just been sitting on it for quite some time. I don't have too much to say about it, unfortunately, considering that I don't really remember it as much as the other games. I only played for it for about 15 minutes, and that was really it. So hopefully I will put in the time to play this game, because this seems to be pretty fun, according to what I've read. Next is Super R-Type. This one is without a doubt tougher than Gradius 3, and I have yet to beat this sucker, because this game is so brutally difficult. In any case, I am interested in looking for R-Type 3, though, because that was one of the games I've been looking for the Super Nintendo for quite some time. Unfortunately, a cartridge of that thing is easily $150, which is not cheap at all compared to Super R-Type. This game is pretty freaking brutal, and I've made it to, I think, stage 4 without getting absolutely destroyed, but I am familiar with R-Type, and this is an excellent game. If I can beat this thing, then there's not many other Super Nintendo games that I could say otherwise could stop me. Next is Nintendo Way of the Ninja. This is the 28th game. This was the most recent one that I posted on my DS collection a long time ago. This game is basically just an alternate timeline where Nobunaga decides to be God and you have to go take him out yourself. The game is a Koei-styled role-playing game where it basically puts historical alternative history with an actually decent role-playing game. So I've only played it for a tiny bit. Don't really know what I'm doing at this moment, but I really hope to just get a feel for it and actually attempt to complete it because This was one that I've wanted for a while just because it was unusual, and, well, I got my chance, I just have to do it. Illusion of Gaia. I've been wanting to complete this sucker for a while, but I just never got the job done. It's got everything, including the book. It's missing the map, though. I need to get the, I have to get the map for this thing, but that's about it. So, excuse me for my error there. Yeah, I've put in a good chunk of time here. Not too much. I've only made it like maybe a third of the way through the game, and that was about it before I stopped because I got lost or something. But I am hoping to actually complete this thing 100%, so I am going to give it that shot when I can, and that's all I got to say about it. Ah, yes, a legit Super Metroid in the form of the red label and not the million seller version. I actually said this in the Super Nintendo Collection 2 years ago, but I have a very weird story with this one in that I had a chance to get this copy, and I missed it because it was deemed too expensive, but at 37 and a half, that was actually extremely cheap for this game, even back then. A year later, I would find this exact same copy, this exact same box and everything at a different place, and I didn't lose the opportunity. I quickly picked it up. So, yeah, that was unusual in its own right. Haven't played. I've yet to complete this sucker. I really do hope to play it at some point in time fully. I've put in maybe half an hour on it just to make sure everything was fine and all that, because of course it was. Cause if not, why do I still have it? But I really am. This is one of those Super Nintendo games that I really am anticipating trying to play. First off, I got two others I want to try, as well as a couple of other games I want to complete. So this is kind of high in the backlog list, but I'll get there soon. And the last game in my collection is Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. I have beat this game, tried to play it for the channel, but a couple serious issues ended up making me have to cut the whole thing out. And I haven't done anything with it since. This particular cartridge that's inside this box, I have beat the game. And yeah, I really am just hoping to play the sucker for the channel. This game was amazing. I really enjoy it. I'm glad I got to play it. But yeah, that's really the only downside was that I never got to actually play it for the channel. Hopefully I will get to before too long, but other projects are in mind, and that's really what matters the most. And that'll do it for the Super Nintendo collection. Suffice to say, I'm quite happy with it overall. I think the only game I'm looking for is Secret of Mana, which, knowing my bad luck with that, might be a while before I actually get a cartridge that I can keep and actually play all the way to the end. But until then, I'm pretty happy with it. And next up will be the Nintendo 64 collection. I also have the Super Famicom video that I will make and put in the description below. And with that, I think that I'll call it a video. So I'm going to wait a couple days, take a little breather before I dump into the Nintendo 64 collection. But hopefully I will see you guys there. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.